Well, we're doing a little detecting. Looking for nuggets here at the Red Chispa placer. A few people up here today. So far, I haven't heard anybody say they found anything. We've just been here a few minutes. Getting hit here with the discriminator on. So. Down in this area before we found some nice, when we were dry washing, some nice gold. And some guys that were over here found some nuggets. I remember they hit a patch by that bush, cleaned it up.
I don't know, it's not clean.
Okay, and let's see, where's my little bottle I had? Lost, didn't lose that already.
I think that's what it is anyways. It's got the appearance of gold.
Oh yeah, it
cleans up his spit like gold.
Yeah, yeah, it's gold. Yeah, it has that characteristics. Oops. Okay, we got found a nice piece here. Thinks he found a piece here. Gonna.
I don't know. Is it? Looks like it.
I think it is. Looks like it, doesn't it, Randy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gold.
It looks like gold.
Yeah, that's gold. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty that it picked that one up. You know, because that's not gigantic or anything. It picked it up.
You picked up with that one?
Yeah. So he's.
So it shows that one does work.
Yeah.
I thought I had a container.
Okay, so we've been down here. We found an area where the water, it looked like the water rushed down into here right before it's going to go up where it gets trapped. And we're not finding any gigantic nuggets, but we are finding nuggets. So, well, they're gigantic to us, I guess. Not to town Massey or somebody like that. A little bit hard to see in this since it's almost the color of gold, this container. But anyway, Steve has 3 pieces in there, looks like. I don't know if you can see them, but they're in there. All right. Thank you. Do you still have yours handy, Randy, or not?
No.
Oh, well, I think I got it.
The guy sits in it, it's laser guided, and it's got the conveyor belt, the core, the big,
Okay, so now we're heading over to do some coin shooting. We're getting a little later start than anticipated. I stopped by where all these guys are parked to ask a question, and Pat Keene was there, and he wanted to see what the Tornado F2 vibrating dry washer looked like. And then I told him the thing doesn't work right, so then he wanted to mess with it. So that took forever. We didn't fix it, but anyway, he gave it a good try. He gave me an idea on maybe what to do. So anyway, we got a little daylight left to head over there. Well, Randy wasted no time. He's already at it. Don't even have mine turned on yet. Yeah, we miss them. All right, Randy found the first find of the day in Indian Head. Can't tell. Let's see. Well, almost looks like 1902 or something, but I'm not sure. There you go.
Or 1901. I can't make it out.
Let me see. I just grabbed my little thing to look. Where is it? No, I can't find it. Well, let me see. Okay, Steve found an Indian head here. Seems like the Indians are here. 1902 or 3, whatever it is. So Steve found a weedy. What year? Yeah, we're running out of daylight. We really got over here late. We're on the move.
It's a 1957.
57, okay. Weedy.
$1951.
1951, okay. Thank you. Got another weedy. 57, okay. Okay, my first coin of the day, a 1901 Indian head. On another weedy. We're waiting to hear the year. 1944, so getting a little older now. Got a 52 weedy. Steve got an Indian head. What year? I think 44 Merc. I think it's a 1957 weedy. 1946 weedy. Well, Steve got a 1924 weedy just now, and we're almost out of daylight. A 44 weedy. As you can see, we're almost doing this in the dark now. So here's the nuggets I found with my metal detector up at the Red Chispa by Randsburg. So it's the first time I've ever found any nuggets with my metal detector.
This thing on.
Milk quarts? Rose quarts?
Hold on.
Pork quarts?
Stop milking them. Okay. Mine dumps. So check your mine dumps. One of my videos I did Mountain of Gold. I don't know if you guys remember that video. There's a mine out at Good Springs where the gold is actually traveling in the granite and through secondary enrichment, which is a whole different story. I'm not going to get into that. And of course I talk about it down the way here, but anyway, the gold is actually being reconcentrated into the contact zones between the granite, which is intrusive rock at the time, and of course they have this other, it's basically limestone, but it's called dolomite. I'm not going to get into that either. So anyway, you want to check the mine dumps. Those mine dumps still have tons and tons of gold in it. I went out and sampled, I couldn't believe it. Took a drywasher out there, we got a 1/4 ounce in a day. Wow. It's already been dug.
I'll be right back.
So, check your mine dumps. Okay, ore bins. I already told you about ore bins. Most of them are going to be empty. If you go into the mines, be careful, please. I found out the hard way. You pull that gate up, guess what? That ore's coming out fast. So I remember we pulled the gate up once because I'm like, oh, there's tons of limonite in here. Lifted up on the bar, and it all came out. It almost buried me. So be careful if you're in the mines and you're checking ore bins. Portals. I already told you about the portals. Checking the portals. Very important. Mill sites. Ooh, I got a story for you on this one. We went out the other day to Valley Wells. I know you guys know Valley Wells. If you don't, look it up on the map. Valley Wells was originally put there to process the copper. They made copper matte out there, and they would ship it off down to SEMA pickup point, and then it would be taken into Salt Lake or LA, I think, for refinement. Anyway, point being is, they got all their ore from Copper World. They shipped it down there, processed it. You can't miss it. There's tons and tons of black slag piles everywhere. Mm-hmm. Why am I talking about this? Because Mohawk Mountain, which sits right next to Clark Mountain, was a gold producer. Yes, I know it's sulfides, but there's also a lot of limonite in there. And that piece right there came from it. So, next to the mill site, you have classification piles all stacked up next to be loaded up into the ore bin, which is gone now. Nobody knows or realizes that that thing is loaded with gold. So, I'm not telling you you're going to get rich because you're going to have to crush it like I just told you. And then of course the process of getting it out, a lot of guys use a shaker table, you can use a blue bowl, some guys still use mercury. I don't advocate that because of mercury poisoning. Can't use mercury if you have a retort and you know what you're doing. I like the centrifuge machines, they work really good on the fine gold. Gold cubes, which Pat sells, fantastic machine. The reason why is because it saturates the gold by forcing it under these veins. So it goes under and it comes up. Once the gold is wet, it'll drop. If it's not wet, it'll float. But I still put a little jet dry in there just to be safe. Gold cubes work good on the fine gold if you can't afford a shaker table. RP4s, I love them. They're only about $2,500 bucks, but if you're on a good deposit, it'll pay for itself, guaranteed. But you're gonna need jaw crushers, you're gonna need some type of a milling device, rod mill, ball mill. You're getting into big money, so that's why I don't advocate that. Okay, mill sites. So check your mill sites, wherever that gold was going. Okay, now the scary one, the workings. This is where everybody wants to know where the gold's at. You go down into the mines. First of all, once again, I don't advocate mines as far as getting into them. There's 9 top reasons I made a video on why not to go in there. Why? It'll kill you, I guarantee it. Almost killed us about 3 times. So, you see what happened to Slim. Anyway, mine workings. Once again, stick with the smaller mines. Stay away from the large commercial mines. Why? A lot of the large commercial mines, what they did, I'll give you one. The Searchlight, good example. There's a mine out there, there's the duplex on the hill, and there's the Quartet around the side. There's the Good Hope, and of course all the other ones. Quartet, good example. Huge, huge mining operation. They found tons and tons of gold. But the problem is, when they got down to the water table, 1,700 foot level, guess what? All those sulfides, they weren't oxidized when they get below the water table. So it's extremely difficult to extract that ore back then. So they left it alone. What did they do? They went back up to the upper levels. And they said, you know what? I know where there's some really good ore in those columns holding the roof up. So let's take those. So they did. So they drilled and blasted the columns out. Of course, it made the roof completely unstable. If you got a stope that's 30 feet wide and 100 feet tall and you take the column out, guess what? It's coming down. Maybe not that day, but it's coming down eventually. So what did they do? Big mine companies lease the mines out because they can make money on existing properties without actually having to invest in labor and all this other stuff. Those guys went down the mines. They couldn't find any gold either, so they took the columns. Crazy stuff. That's why I don't advocate going in mines, rock falls, rock bursts, bad air. Anyway, but the small mines, that's what you want. Go looking for the small mines because the miners only wanted the high grade. They left the low grade alone. You go in there and you find out where they left off, or because they had to shut down because of Executive Order L208. God, I couldn't get that out. Go looking for those deposits. I guarantee you're going to find some good gold. But be careful. Remember what I told you. Don't go in the mines. You heard it from me first. So it's up to you if you guys go in and get hurt. So go in there, look in the drifts, stopes. If you don't know this language and you plan on going in, you better learn it. Because if you go into a drift or a stope and you don't understand mining terminology or what they were doing, you're going to walk up on a winds in the floor, and that'll be the last thing you ever do, because you're not even going to see it. Trust me. Or you come up into some bad air, or you stir up rat droppings, and you get the hantavirus because of it. Trust me, it's not worth it. The water's very acidic in some of these mines because of the sulfuric acid that's created from the leaching effect on a lot of the sulfides. So you got to be really careful when you get into these old mines. That's just one out of a handful of things. Bats, you get bit. Oh, rabies shots in the stomach. Are you kidding me? So be careful you go in the old mines. Outcroppings. There's a couple mines in California that we found where they sunk the shaft to the left or to the right of the original outcropping. What we did is we went to that outcropping and we started poking around it and found good deposits. Not excellent, but good. They didn't want it because it was low grade. When you start getting into hard rock, you're going to realize that if you have, like, say, Gossan outcroppings, any type of quartz outcroppings, a lot of that is going to be leached out from zillions of years of exposure to the elements. So a lot of times your samples aren't going to be very good or a good indicator of what's down in the ground. If that Gossan is deep, like say at the Vulture mine, that gold's going to get better the deeper you go, I'm telling you. So check, if you don't know this language, read the books, you'll understand it. But check around the mine, sometimes there's trenches, pits, outcroppings near that. If you sample that, you might get onto something they didn't want to bother with because they wanted the good stuff. Any questions so far? No? Wow.